Worldwide Videos.
Hello witty people, happy Saturday, and this week on Worldwide Videos we are going to be talking about beauty. Basically, in mainstream media, at least from what I've experienced, the word beauty has kind of become synonymous with the word perfection. This ideal of perfection has kind of wormed its way into every little aspect of our existence, from things like advertising, where makeup and stuff is all designed to take away your flaws, and it's even really present in things like TV shows and movies, or even music, in the people that we choose to be kind of our idols, or at least the people that we're watching constantly. Whether it's fictional TV, reality shows, or things like newscasters, the people that are picked are usually very pretty. They all have their hair done and their makeup done, and they're usually really skinny, so we're seeing this ideal constantly, so we feel like we have to be like that. Even when people who don't necessarily fit that beautiful stereotype are chosen for roles like this, their whole purpose is either to overcome whatever their flaw is. So for example, maybe an overweight person losing weight and then they become happy, so you know that you have to lose weight to become happy. Or they're kind of like a token character, so whatever TV network it is showing, yes, we definitely appreciate these kinds of people, but we're definitely going to point out that we're inclusive. So a lot more is focused on their flaw instead of them being an actual human being. Even in the art world, whether it's drama, dance, music, or visual arts, you have to perform something or create something perfect for it to be beautiful a lot of the time. I know from personal experience, my own piano teacher has emphasized the importance of a perfect performance. Not saying that, you know, your music isn't beautiful until you're like this, but it's definitely something to strive for. So when you really think about it, we are constantly surrounded by people telling us that we have to be perfect and beautiful a lot of the time. We're constantly on our phones and TVs and computers, so we're hearing, you have to look like this, or we can help you fix your flaws so you can be like this. If you're basically being slapped in the face with these ideals all the time, it's kind of discouraging. You're basically left thinking, if I don't live up to these standards, then what am I? Am I not beautiful? Am I not important? Am I not loved? And that can really mess you up if you have low self-esteem issues, especially like a lot of teens that are growing up with this. However, I'm not saying that having things like goals to strive for or wanting to look, I don't know, a little bit better is necessarily a bad thing. For example, if you want to lose a little bit of weight, but you're doing it for yourself and because it'll make you feel healthier and happier, then that's awesome. We can't deny that physical beauty and aesthetics exist, and it's totally fine to appreciate them. It only starts getting problematic when you place this ideal of being beautiful or creating beautiful art a little bit too high in your little totem pole of priorities. Having low self-esteem and not thinking of yourself as beautiful is a huge problem, especially in young people, which is why representation of all different kinds of people is so important too. You're definitely going to feel a little more beautiful if somebody is represented well and as a person and they're a little bit like you. So to bring all these ideas together, we're constantly walking this fine line between appreciating beauty in its more physical sense and then emphasizing it a little bit too much that it becomes unhealthy. We kind of have to be aware of this, and maybe one thing we can do to avoid this unhealthy perception of beauty is try and look for beauty in more pure universal forms. If we find beauty in things that are very loving and kind of nice and positive, it might be easier to think of ourselves as beautiful and think of everyone else as beautiful and just live a happier life. For me, and I wrote this down so it's all official, a person is at their most beautiful and creates the most beautiful things when they're truly passionate, honest, and comfortable with what they're appreciating or what they're creating. For example, I think when a person is talking about something that they really genuinely love or care about really deeply, whether that be an object or a person or a book or TV show or movie or something, they get this like glow about them. They kind of radiate joy and happiness, and I think it's the happiness that's making them really beautiful, and I think that's something that everyone can appreciate and that it's good to look for in other people. One example of this kind of relatable feeling that I remember from Witteos is Hannah's treehouse video from our favorite places week. When I watched the video, I could tell right away that everything Hannah was talking about was very deep and personal and meaningful. Maybe that relatability kind of touches something deep within us that it's like, I have those same feelings but for different things, so this makes me really happy for that person and for the human race as a whole, because we're not really that different. And I think that when somebody shows feelings like that, especially through their art, it takes something that we would normally find aesthetically pleasing and like bumps it up to a whole other level. Yesterday I was at a piano masterclass and the teacher talked about how sometimes students play their music usually dutifully, but another kid played something dramatically and that was so much better. And I think you really appreciate something like that when there is feeling and meaning put behind it. I think that's why it's so important to recognize this type of beauty not only in other people, but also in yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, I may not be perfect, but I am a complex human being with so many wonderful emotions and I can express myself and there are so many cool things I can do and I'm so beautiful, because we don't really take enough time to do that a lot. It's just so important for your mental and physical health to really love yourself and know that you're beautiful no matter what you look like or what you think you can and can't do or where you come from or anything, because everyone is so beautiful. We all have that potential. It's nice to think about that sometimes. I hope you have a lovely week, my beautiful witty people, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye!